Okay, so look at this. When I taught you about shapes, I told you that you have 2D shapes and you have 3D shapes. There are two types of shapes. So when you're asked to solve questions to do with shapes, you will meet 2D shapes and you will meet 3D shapes. And I'm going to train you how you will quickly polish yourself in this. It is through doing a lot of questions. So I'll give you different types of questions. You get stuck, you ask me. So in life, you have two types of shapes. In life, in maths, two types of shapes, 2D and 3D. 2D, we also call them the plane shapes. These are your circles, the circle, the square, the rectangle. The three types of triangles in terms of area, when they ask you for area. We'll talk about it. Then you have parallelogram. Then you have trapezium. Then you have a sector. All these are 2D shapes that you must know about. And you must know how to get area of them. Okay? Now, when you know how to get area of this, what I want us to focus on is these. Okay, because we also have, by the way, you have a kite, etc., etc. These are not the only ones. But if you look here, I want us to focus on the triangles. Right. First thing, I want us all to agree that triangles are simple shapes. Does everybody agree with me to say triangles are simple shapes or 2D shapes? Yes. And not only that, they are actually easy shapes. Does everybody agree with me that a triangle is an easy shape? It only has 3 sides. Do you all agree with me? So it's not fair. Good. It's not fair for us at 15 to struggle with a shape with 3 sides. We want to master it. Okay? This shape with 3 sides should never ever bother you again. This shape with 3 sides should never ever bother you again. Give me a second. Hi, please join. I've sent you a link. Are you around? Good. Okay. So what I was saying is, these shapes should never ever give you a problem. What we are looking at today is, let me explain so that you master it. There are 3 types of things that you can be asked about a triangle. So let's put it. The first thing I want you to know, so we are focusing on triangles. We want to see all the types of questions that you can get on these triangles. I'm focusing on sine rule and cosine rule today, where it works. Okay? Hi, Aqua. Good evening. How are you? I'm good. So, listen, from today, I want us to, with questions. Okay, we'll be doing questions over time. But can you write for me? Write for me to say, I'm adding to what we already know. Okay, but just write for me to say 7 July 2026. Right, and you write triangles, and I want you to write there are three sections. I must know to master triangles. For me to master triangles, there are three sections that I must know. Master triangle. First one is what I taught you last time when we did some questions, which you took is area. Area of a triangle. Nobody should struggle with area of a triangle because there are three situations. Put small triangles, don't make them too big. Situation 1, situation 2, situation 3. Situation 1, this is base, this is height. This is situation number 2, that will give you base, then height. Then situation number 3, that will give you this side, and this angle. For the very first situation, you should know that area is equal to base times height divided by 2. When you get, my students, please listen. You are very important students to me. Don't let me down here. If you get a right-angled triangle and they ask you for area, this is the easiest situation. It's just base by height divided by 2. You just take the base at the bottom by the height and divide by 2. If they ask you for area in this situation number 2, you'll be given the base again, this one, and you'll be given this distance, which is the height. You still say area is base times height divided by 2. Situation number 3, you have A, you have that other side B, then you have the angle theta. You have the two sides. Okay, they won't be called, they will not call them A and B. It's us who call them A and B. But you'll be just having this side and this side and an angle between. That's all you are given. It's not a right angle triangle. You don't know the base, you don't know the height. How do you get area for this situation? You must know. You must practice right now. You take this side A, you multiply by this other side B, then you multiply by sine theta, not by theta, but by sine theta, and divide by 2, just like you did for the other situations where you were dividing by 2. And this is how you get area of a triangle. So if it comes to area, we are done. We have mastered it. We no longer want to hear about area. Slowly we are trying to master triangles. We don't want to come back again. So when it comes to area, we are done. We will use one of these 3 formulas. So I don't want to see anyone who can't get area of a triangle, please. Then the second situation, which I've talked about, which I was training you Aqua yesterday, is how you look for a missing side or angle. Missing side or angle for right-angled triangle. Okay. I'm just putting the info and moving because we don't have time. For right-angled triangle, how do we look for a missing side? Yes. Ooh, what happened? Let me try to sort it for you. How is it right now? Can you see it? Well done. Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Is it fine? Good. So if you look at this situation. How do we find a missing side or a missing angle? So we are no longer doing area. Put this in your mind that we are no longer doing area. We are doing missing sides, missing angle. They'll say, find this side, find this side, find this angle, find this side, find this angle. But every time they are asking you to do that, they'll give you a triangle with a right angle. Now, I want you to know that you have two methods. Method number one is called SOHCAHTOA. Two methods to solve triangles that have a right angle when you're looking for a missing side or a missing angle. Here is what you do for SOHCAHTOA. Method one is SOHCAHTOA. And here I'm going to show you case number one. This is an example of when you must use SOHCAHTOA. Find theta. Or you can have it as this, they'll call it A, then B, then C. So you can say, they can say to you, find theta. Or they can say, find ACB. Is the same thing as theta. If you're given this situation where they give you two sides and they ask you to find an angle, the only way you can find an angle is to do SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA? Yes, sir. SOHCAHTOA? Yes. Because you have a missing angle. Another situation where you use SOHCAHTOA is this. We'll come back to this. I just want you to write. Then they say, find BC. This is case number two. So these are the two situations that you will use SOHCAHTOA for. Sorry, I made a mistake. This is 30, then 40 degrees. Then they'll say find BC. These are the two situations you use SOHCAHTOA for. When you are given two sides and they ask for an angle, or when you're given one side and one angle, you must use SOHCAHTOA. One side, one angle, you use SOHCAHTOA. Two sides and they ask for an angle, you use SOHCAHTOA. Then method number two, which is the final one. Okay. Put it here. And say method Number 2, this is Pythagoras or Pythagorean theorem. You can say Pythagoras theorem or Pythagorean theorem. You use it when you have, of course it will be a right angle triangle, but you will have two sides and they will ask for the third side. So this is the only situation where you do not use SOHCAHTOA. The only situation where you are not going, every other right-angled triangle, you use SOHCAHTOA. The only time you are not going to use SOHCAHTOA is if you are given two sides and they ask for side number 3. You don't use SOHCAHTOA. You use Pythagoras. Okay? It's only about sides. Look at this, student. You're given two sides. They are asking for side number 3. So this is Pythagoras. Any other situation is SOHCAHTOA. Are we together? When do we do Pythagoras? When you have two sides. When you have two sides. When you have two sides and you are looking for side number 3, then use Pythagoras for that. Two sides, you're looking for side number 3, yes. But if they don't give you two sides and ask for side number 3, let's say they give you only one side and one angle, then you cannot use Pythagoras. This is the stuff. Now let's do the last part. We are now going to the last part, which is section. You skip 2 lines or 3 lines or 4 lines. Then you do section number 3. And you say finding, this is the last one, and you would have mastered triangles. All we need to do is questions, because questions will teach you how to use the knowledge that you'll be having. Finding missing side or angle for non-right angled. Students, a triangle is easy. Non-right angled triangle. Non-right angled triangle. Finding the missing side or angle of a non-right angled triangle. You say here, there are 2 methods. Again, there are 2 methods. Let's start with method 1. It is cosine rule. Method 1 is the cosine rule. Let's see when we use it. Case 1, you use it if you are given a non-right angle triangle, then you are given all 3 sides. So this is 368, then they give you an angle theta to find. So the question can say, this is maybe ABC. The question can say, find theta. Or it can say, find angle ABC. This is when we will use the cosine. When you have all 3 sides. Hello? When you have all 3 sides, cosine rule. Why, sir? Because we have a triangle with no right angle, and you are given all three sides. So you have to use the cosine rule. Another situation where you use the skip 2 lines, and let's put situation number 2. This is case 1. This is case 1. Now, let's see case 2. The last type of question that I will want to hear you talk about cosine rule will be like this. Here you do the 7, then you're given 9, then you're given 30 degrees. Or they can say, yeah, it's like this. This is how it is. 7, 9, 30 degrees. And let's say they say this is A, this is B, this is C. So this, if they ask you to find BC, this is a situation where you use cosine rule again. Why? Why would we use cosine rule, Mr. Clarify? Cosine rule should work when we have 3 sides. Here we only have 2 sides. So why would you use the cosine rule? It's because your 2 sides are meeting at one corner. If your 2 sides don't meet at one corner, then you gotta forget about the cosine rule. You should have 2 sides that you know. Here we know this is 7. Here we know this is 9. So we know the 2 sides. We know the 7 and we know the 9. And they are meeting at one corner. And then we know the angle that is sitting in between them. So this is what makes it a cosine rule question. It has a special thing, what we call an included angle. It has a special angle called an included angle. An included angle, basically, what it is when you have two sides and the angle that sits in between them, then you must use the cosine rule. How do I use the cosine? How do I use? I'll teach you. But in the final exam, you will have it. And then method 2 is the sine rule. Okay? The method number 2 is called the sine rule. When do I use it? You just write below to say any situation in which cosine rule any situation in which cosine rule does not work, we will use the sine rule. So if we don't have 3 sides and we also don't have an included angle like this, an angle which is sitting between 2 things, then yes. Can you see this? These are the situations for cosine rule. Can you see them? Only 2. Other than that, if you get a triangle with no right angle and it can't work for cosine rule, it can't work for sine rule, then for cosine rule, then it has to work for sine rule. There we go. It has to. Yes. Definitely, I'm recording it and I've explained. Yes, definitely, Millicent. Hey, it's fighting you. I can see that. I don't know how your network is fighting you. But it had been better lately. Did you see that? It started today. Did you change locations or what? Are you at the same place? So I don't know what's wrong. But yes, so triangles, they will bother people from anywhere else, but not us. We are not bothered by triangles. Because now what I want to do with you is I want to do question after question, practicing how to use these things. But practicing how to use these things is not the first stage. The first stage is you must know where to use each of these things. So for area, are we done? Can everybody say you understand area of a triangle, the three formulas? You have them? Did you write them down? Did you write them down? Good. And can everybody say the two ways to solve triangles that have right angles? The two ways to solve the triangles that have right angles. Can everybody say you have written it down? You know the secret is, let me tell you the secret. You should just check, can we use Pythagoras? If we cannot use Pythagoras, automatically we use SOHCAHTOA. And Pythagoras will only work if you are given any two sides and you are asked to find the third side. So you must be given two sides and they ask you to find the third side. If they just change, it has to be SOHCAHTOA. If they give you two sides, but then instead of asking you to find the third side, they ask you to find an angle, this is SOHCAHTOA. What about if they don't even give you two sides? They give you one side and one angle, then ask you, that's SOHCAHTOA. Do you understand? Good. So if Pythagoras theorem doesn't work, then you write SOHCAHTOA. That is, and look at how we write it, SOHCAHTOA. So I want you to tell me, sir, for this question, Pythagoras is not going to work because they did not give us two sides and ask for the third one. They gave us two sides and asked for an angle. Or they gave us only one side and one angle. And they're asking for a side. So it has to be a pair. Are we together? Then you go to the last, which is the cosine rule and the sine rule. For cosine, we said you must have all three sides. You must have all three sides. You must have all three sides. Or they'll give you a triangle. Yes, it will not have a right angle this time. But instead of giving you all three sides, they'll give you two sides and an angle. But the angle will be sitting nicely inside. So have you seen this? If it doesn't suit here, then we are going to use the sine rule. So I want to give you situations. Let me just open one. And I want to see if we are mastering it or what. Look at this triangle. Here. Does it have a right angle? Students, Does this triangle have a right angle? No. No. So our methods are sine rule or cosine. If we were to solve it in full, let's just say, right? If we're to solve for a missing side or whatever, let's say to find this side or this side, right? Okay, if we're to find this side or find this side, then we use sine rule or cosine rule. So we look, do we have the situations for cosine rule? Do we have all three sides? No. We don't have all three sides. Now, do you have an included angle? You check 42. Is it an included angle? No, because I should know this one and this one. But I only know this one, so it's out. 115, I only know this one and so this time from P to have you seen this? 115 is not an included angle because we don't know this other side. So can the cosine rule work, students? No, it can't. We don't have three sides, okay? And you know that if you don't have three sides, you should check, do you have included angle? We don't have an included angle. So cosine rule doesn't work. So what you can use is the sine rule automatically. Right. Look at these ones. Look at this next question. This is the last one we're doing. Now, I want to ask people a question. I want you to explain to me why you say what you say. Ilang, can you see the triangle in red? What method do we use to solve it? The triangle in red, what method do you use to solve it? Ilang, I don't like guesswork. You are guessing. I don't like guesswork. Tell me the rules. So Ilang, tell me, does this triangle have a right angle, yes or no? If it doesn't have a right angle, which methods do you have? So why did you guess to say Sokatoa? It doesn't have a right angle, so it's sine rule and cosine rule. Are you promising me you'll never guess again? Good. You should tell me the reasons. So this question uses the sine rule or the cosine rule. Now, how do you know which one to choose? Look for situations for cosine rule. Tell me, Ilang, what do you look for when you are checking if you can use the cosine rule? What do you look for? Two things. What are the two things you look for? Number one, if the triangle has all three sides, right? Does it have all three sides? This triangle in red? No, it doesn't, because this side AD is unknown. Okay. Number two, what is the second thing you look for? Ilang, what's the second thing you look for? Check your notes. Did I write it? It starts with an I. Included. Ilang, included what? Included angle, right? Did you write the notes down? Okay. You check for an included angle. Does this triangle have an included angle, the one in red? Is angle 56 an included angle, Ilang? Let me be fair. Let me also ask others so that I'm fair. Lenny, this triangle in red, does it have an included angle? Which angle is that? Angle 56 degrees is included. Why do you say it's included? Yes, because we know the two sides that meet there. If you know the two sides that meet there, then you are good. That means it is an included angle. That means it passes. We can use cosine rule. So sine rule is out. You check these two situations so that you know, can you use the cosine rule? So yes, we can use the cosine rule. If you can use the cosine rule, it means the sine rule is out. Okay, good. Let's do the triangle, the other one, because they have a habit. You see what they'll do to you, Ilan? They'll put two triangles together to confuse you. Right, this one is for aqua. Aqua, can you see the triangle in blue? What method do we use when we are solving it? When we are solving this triangle in blue, what methods do we have? Okay, could use the cosine rule or the sine rule. All right, good. Because the triangle has no right angle, right? So this simple, easy shape with three sides, you just look at it, this shape with three sides, you say, there is no right angle here. So I'm only going to be able to choose one between sine rule and cosine rule. Now for cosine rule, you first check for cosine rule now to say, do you have all three sides? Do you know all three sides, Aqua? For the triangle in blue, do you know all three sides? Which side don't you know? Yes, TC or side CD. We like to start with the other letter. So side CD, we don't know it. Well done. So that means we don't know all three sides. Now, number two, we check, do we have an included angle? We are seeing if we can use the cosine rule. Do we have an included angle? I'm asking this one to who now? To Madichaba. Madichaba, look at the triangle in blue. Does it have an included angle, Madichaba? Madichaba, can you see the triangle in blue? I want us to practice this. We'll do it about 20 more minutes tomorrow as well. Madichaba, can you see the triangle in blue? Hello, Madichaba, what happened to your mic? Can you hear me? Ooh. Dintle, let's try your mic. Let's see. Dintle, can you see the triangle in blue? Do you okay, good. Do you understand what an included angle is now? Yes. So you look at the angles you have. Which angles do you have? Can you see the triangle in blue? Tell me what angle you are seeing there. Okay, angle 47. So let's test it. Let's test if that angle is an included angle. Let's test if we can use it to do the cosine rule. Let's test. Do you know the two sides that meet at 47 degrees? Do you know them? Both the sides. No, you don't. You only know 15.8, but you don't know the other side that meets at 47. Good. So that means that 47 is not an included angle. And since we have no other angle, that means for this one, we don't have an included angle. So we have tested and we've seen that we don't have all three sides. Don't force it. Your job is just to check. Do you have all three sides? No. Okay, because you've seen that this triangle has no right angle. So you start testing it for cosine rule, then you do it for sine rule. So you say, do you know all three sides? No. So, do you have an included angle? Angle 47 is not. So that means cosine rule, I'm sorry, you are out. For this question, for this triangle in blue, we have to use the sine rule. Are we together? I'm happy. This is how you choose. We're going to do more together as a class. And I'll be giving you 10s together until we master. Then, when we have mastered how to choose the rules, we should know all the rules. So, we should know the rules for area, the three of them, the three for area. Then we should know, sorry, this is not for you guys. We should know the three for area. We should know the three for area. Here, these three. You should know these three for area. Then when you know these three for area, base times height over 2, base times height over 2, AB sine theta also over 2. Then you go to the missing side or angle. The missing side or angle of a right-angled triangle. If the triangle is a right angle, yes. If the triangle has a right angle, you just check for whatever they're asking. Can I use Pythagoras? And for you to use Pythagoras, there must be two sides given, and the question should ask for the. So here, if Pythagoras theorem doesn't work, then you have to use SOHCAHTOA. For this section 2, triangles with right angles. Then the last one is triangles without right angles. You use the sine rule or the cosine rule. And here is how you master, because a lot of people have problems. For you to know which method to use, look for conditions for cosine. If the conditions or one of the conditions for cosine are there, then you use cosine. Okay. So here, the two methods. Number one is the cosine rule. You check if you have all three sides or if you have two sides and an angle between. No. If one of these two will be there, then it's French whatever. Here you'd say if one or two will be there, then you have to use the cosine rule. But if both are not there, then you have to use the sine rule. If both these situations are not there, triangles without right angles. All right. This is what I needed you to know. And I'll see how good you are at your memory, how much you can remember. I'll see. Then we're going to take it from there. Right. I'll see how much you can remember. Don't let me down. We're going to take it from there in the next lesson. And I'll be doing question after question from past papers with you, the hard ones. If I can do them with you, then I know you can easily do the easy ones. Right? Are we agreeing? Yes. We need to practice and practice and practice and practice until this shape here, this one, with three sides, this one, This little one, it should never give you a problem. Whether they ask for area, or they ask you to find a missing angle, or they ask you to find a missing side, this shape should never give you problems. All right, we'll meet again and continue in our next lesson. You are dismissed. Millicent and Dintle, please call my phone directly at 10 p.m. exactly today, okay? For chemistry revision. Are we together? Yes, call me on WhatsApp the moment it's 10 o'clock. Then we can do chemistry. Those who want to attend with them for chemistry revision, I'll send you a link at 10. Those who do chemistry. If you do chemistry and you want to attend with them, I'll help them prepare for their test tomorrow at 10. Goodbye. Multiple choice? Okay. We'll practice with multiple choices then. Multiple choice one. All right. Goodbye. No, if it's written paper 4-2, that means it's paper 4. So you'll be writing paper 4. You should show me what is written so that I can help you. Okay, so I'm going to did you send me yesterday? When did you send me? Wow, that was amazing. So okay, so I'll check, especially when you call, I'll check, okay? Right now I already have other lessons, but definitely at 10 you call me and then we go through it. I'm available. Goodbye.